Hey guys, welcome back to more AFK Arena. In today's video, we're over on Kiasma's account to check out a Desira. Now, the owned Desira isn't at maxed out. She is only at 3 furniture, so we are going to be testing with the trial version 5-star and 9 furniture to see what she can do. I've done a bit of testing, and yeah, let's get into it. And first off, yes, I am wearing a different hat. The reason being, I just don't know where I put the other one. So we got this one on. OGs from 3 years ago when I made my first videos with Facecam. You remember this hat. I'm pretty sure this was the first hat I wore in a video. You can't replace a good hat. Once you got a good hat, you gotta wash it and keep it. Anyway, moving on to that. Desira. Now, like I said, I've spent a bit of time on Kiasma's account testing her. She just seems like... I'm really happy with the way they implemented Desira and that they've been doing some other heroes. In that she doesn't seem broken, but she doesn't seem absolutely trash. It's just like a nice balanced character that it's not contributing to power creep or anything like that. And I think that's really healthy for the game. So that's my basic summary of her at the moment. Now, I've tested her in a lot of teams, trying to make her work. I'm trying some, funny teams using Keltha and Nara, which I really wanted to try to drag the enemies into the mist early to get them feared and stuff like that. It ain't really working. But we'll go through a few teams, and I'm keen to see if you guys have any other ideas on stuff she can do. I'm still very unsure on her mist, the way it functions. Now, obviously, if the enemies already have a buff, it won't remove it. So a lot of passive buffs, I feel like it's not going to remove. I feel like she could be used as a nice counter against something like a Lucius, avoid that shield and stuff like that. But in general, I feel like she's a pretty okay healer. And just like I said, if there's a unique situation in which she's busted, let me know. But at the moment, she just seems like a decent hero to put in your team. And she's not one that I think really warrants, even though I've got her on my wish list because I just really like her design. I don't think for newer players, she really warrants a spot on the wish list straight away. But yeah, let's jump in and take a look. So the first thing we're going to look at is going to be just like a god comp. So if we go here, we grab a Ziz. Where's he at? Ziz, we grab Mahira. We grab a Twins, if we can find a Twins. Something like this. Now, she's going to work in this. Basically, this type of comp, I feel like she's actually a little bit better than Taylene, as long as you can get a Ziz to survive through the early parts, or as long as you can get your front row to survive until the first ults start happening. I think she's actually going to have more effective power than Taylene in this one, not damage, but just sustain wise. So this is the sort of the god comp thing, and as you can see, we get the Aziz to survive there, we get the Mahira ult, and away we go. Now this one, shout out to Kiasma. When I jumped onto his account, he was actually playing around with this, so that's why this was like the first team I tested. And as you can see, it actually works pretty solid. Like there's not too much else you really need to say about it. It's god comp, but a lot of things work well in god comp. But it does free you up. Like I said, if you can get that Taylene out of there and you got a Taylene in the late game, it frees you up that Taylene to go put into another team where maybe there's more impact on the front row and you got to survive a bit better at the start. But that is the god comp variation. Now, where I've been liking her is in like my Lucretia 5 pool, or just my Lucretia Iron team on my other accounts, which it does work in. But I've tested that on 2 other accounts, so we're not going to go into that. Okay, so the next type of thing that I tried her with, and I just couldn't get it to work, was I had this theory on using Keltha and Nara in like a Graveborn-centric team. Like, you could even use Keltha, Nara, and Iron, but like, why not just use 5 pool? But yeah, I had this idea of using Keltha and Nara just to grab 2 enemies, get them into that mist, get them locked out, get them feared, and use that. And then I was like trying it with like a Torn and stuff like that because I really want Torn to work. But unfortunately, I was just using too many characters where at the stage where Kiasma's at, like, you're using a lot of maxed out characters, and as you can see, none of these guys have furniture or anything. I don't know whether that would impact it. It was just a fun team that I wanted to try, but unfortunately it wasn't really working, so we scrapped that, and I've swapped all the gear back, so I'm not going to jump into it just to show you guys some failed runs. But I still really do hope that this can work at some level eventually. So here's another team that we did get it to work in, and that was the Daimon comp. I don't think she's too impactful in this one, but I was trying to use the non-standard Daimon comp where you use like Daimon and Ulna and stuff like that. This was me trying to make a team that like used her and some not so commonly, like, I know it's Mezoth, but like just trying to make up like one of the 5 teams for a Kiasma account. Like obviously we could do like Rowan and Lucretia and Dominate, but I was trying to use not the most overpowered characters. So this is another team that like sort of can have some function. I don't know how much impact she's actually having. She doesn't actually get to an ult in this team. We may even fail this one. I did actually get it to succeed, but like I said, she's a good general support. I'd like maybe a Silas or something like that in this team would still do better. This one, she is going to get to her ult, which is going to be helpful. Allow Daimon to get that bit further. Hopefully, back in a sec. Okay, so there's the victory. Like I said, I feel like she can like, and this is where I talked about it being balanced. I feel like you can throw her into these teams and she can work. But she's not like the optimal hero from what I can see. Like I said, maybe against a Lucius or something like that, she can be a bit more optimal. But so far, this is the sort of stuff that I'm seeing from her. So that is the Daimon team. Okay, so now we have her in an Izold team. And I feel like against certain teams, this type of Izold team will work where it's like a super healing based using Silas and her. And then Pharrell, obviously, for CC. I put the Hendrik in there in case anyone sort of got hit too hard. I don't think we really needed the Hendrik. We could have probably swapped the front row up, but because he was the only one that died, so it didn't protect anyone in the end. But this sort of team where you just hyper heal into letting Izold do his thing, I feel like could be pretty functional. And we do get a look at it against Lucius. Unfortunately, it doesn't pan out the way I wanted it to. But let's have a look at this. So we'll put on 1x speed. Now, the thing in this one, you can see the Lucius bar here. He's about to ult right now, but we actually CC him out of it. We CC him out of it with the Hendrik knockback. Now, by the time his ult was actually cast, we had lost the mist. So even using her against a Lucius, it's going to be a very RNG based thing, because having the mist up at that point, especially if they're not on your side of the field, because it sort of gets there and then disappears, it's going to be very hard to get that timing right on doing it. But obviously, Izold, just a good carry in general. Just adding support to that. Like I said, not like making a team, but just adding a little bit to it. And that's basically the effects you get. So that's pretty much it. That's her there. Now, like I said, I feel like you can splash her in a bunch of teams and get her to work to free up the spot of another hero. Now, there's something I literally just thought of then, which if you haven't been paying attention, I love Isabella at the moment. I think Isabella's an absolute savage. So let's jump in and try an Isabella team with her. I don't know if she's going to help the Isabella. For an Isabella team, what am I thinking here? Is she going to work against this? Let's find out. So I think we bring the Hendrik because we've got 2 squishy back rows that we really want to protect. So I think a Hendy's going to be handy in this. Obviously, we'll bring her. The cool thing is, like, with her, if Hendy goes back to protect someone, then he's getting all the advantages of the mist as well. So that's me trying to justify my positioning there. I kind of want to put a Rowan in. You know, I'm just going to do a Rowan for this team just because I want to get that Isabella to pop off quickly. And then who else can we use that's not overly common? Who can we use that's not overly common to, like, make up for the fact that we're using a Rowan? Now, unfortunately, that Rowan's going to get tossed. So we saw, like, no, I don't want Hendrik to get thrown. I hate Warwick. Unless we do another sacrificial lamb. And we do, like, I don't want to use Thorin. I don't want to use let's do you randomly. That'll make him run straight back when she goes into him. Let's just bear with me for a sec. Bear with me. She went into him in time. Didn't work. Okay, we did get it to work against this team. I really like Isabella when she gets to pop up. I couldn't do it against the Warwick team. The Warwick team was just too much pressure. But this one here, where you have a second to actually get into it, actually worked pretty well. So we'll put it on 1x speed. You can see Hendrik getting low, but getting those little heals, like those little heals get him, and then he goes back and saves Desira, who's getting attacked. Then we go into the ult here from Isabella, land a kill and get the fears. As you can see, everyone's running away. Not the most optimal team against the Wukong because we've got a lot of control and it gives him a lot of free clones. But as you can see, like, I think this is just me turning into I really need to build an Isabella and stop worrying about Desira, because man, I love Isabella's ult. It's sick. But yeah, that's pretty much the extent of the testing. We'll put it on 2x speed so we can still see what's happening, but get things to happen. And then we did have Creepy Hand Lady in there just because we were using a Rowan, so I didn't want to use any other like core units. So the Creepy Hand Lady still made it work. The cool thing about that team was using the Creepy Hand Lady meant she went into the Rigby, which meant that which meant Desira got attacked straight away, which meant you had the Hendrik there to protect. So it kind of worked out not too bad in that sense with the Creepy Hand Lady and Hendrik. So, you know, that's just some of the testing I've done. Let me know if you guys see any teams that you think is like completely busted with her. Because like I said, I feel like she's just a well-balanced hero where she can fit into some teams and free up a different hero for another team. And that's sort of the uses. Like I said, I want to test her more with countering Lucius, but it's really RNG dependent on getting the mist there at the exact time he pops his ult and stuff like that. So obviously with that 9 furniture. But anyway, that is the extent of my Kiasma testing of Desira. Spent a couple hours, like I said, she's okay. I still like her. I still love the design, and I think she's good enough that she can be used. So better than being trash. Anyway, guys, that is going to be it for this one. Thanks for watching. I hope you have an awesome day, and I'll look forward to seeing the next one. Cheers.